Okay, Google, stop. I forgot to turn on the music off. Good afternoon. It's Tea Time Tuesday. It's 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in Southern Ontario. My name is Barbara Moore, and today we're going to talk about those that matter to us. So I really can't tell you how much I appreciate your condolences on the loss of our cat. You know, some people just don't get this animal thing. But we've had animals, I can't tell you how many animals are going to be at the bridge waiting for us. And, you know, we've had animals all of our lives, ever since we got married. And I just realized this morning that for 35 years, we have had an orange cat in our house. Hi, Carol, how are you? And thank you, Carol, I appreciate your comment. You know, everybody appreciates being told that they matter. Hi, Heather, and I can't tell you how much it matters to me that you really believe that. And I just enjoy Tea Time so much. It's starting to catch on. People are starting to, you know, really, like, every week come. Hi, Diane. Every week, you know, coming on and saying how, anyways. So I realized this morning, that it's been 35 years since we've had ginger cats in our house. So Jazz was the third one. We had Oscar, we had Chester, and we had Jazz. And they were, orange cats are absolutely fabulous, right? This one got sick so fast, and there was absolutely nothing that we could do. And so we had to have him put down. And I think I have over 420 comments on condolences for Jazz. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And for those that emailed me and said, you know, we had lost a pet, or we lost grandpuppies, and, you know, and they matter as well. I know how close we are to my son's dog, and my daughter's dog is just, like, he is just an amazing dog. And he lived with us for a couple of years, as the other ones did too. But he's a real special dog. He's a chocolate lab, and I just don't even want to be around when he goes. So anyways, we aren't replacing this cat. And so the first time in our life, we're not replacing an animal. And so we are now down to 3 cats and 1 dog. And it's a very sad fact that as they expire, we won't be replacing them. And, you know, this is another first in our life, another way that our life is changing. So, you know, it's sad and everything, but we just can't afford the vet bills and the upkeep, nor can we keep up with them, keeping them exercised and everything, right? So it's really not fair to them, and it's not fair to us. So it is what it is, right? So, you know, I told you last week that the dog was looking kind of sketchy too, right? Now, she perked up when my husband perked up last week, and she's not looking too bad now, but she is 11 years old, and she's a shepherd. So she's past her prime, for sure. And now we're wondering whether we're going to get another dog when she goes. And that's very sad, because we've always had a dog. So life changes and we go on, eh? For me, I'm just, I think that I'm just a little sad at the things that won't be the same. And I really have a problem with change. So somebody told me that they sold their house and they sold all their furniture and moved into a new house with all new furniture. Everything was brand new. Everything in her life was brand new. And I was like, oh, you're brave. I just can't do that. But, you know, I know a lot of people look forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to not having as many animals in my house. But I think the thing that's really bothering me is that going forward, things will be different. And I really don't have any control over how things will be different in the future, right? So my husband was feeling better this week. Thank you, everybody, for asking. And he had to get up off of his couch, actually, and take the cat in and have him put down, because the kids had helped as much as they could, but, you know, they all have to work and they've got their own lives. And the vet's not there all the time, right? So you have to go kind of when they have the appointment. So my husband had to go and have him put down. And it was very sad. And so anyways, after that, my husband started to rally a bit, and we attended our annual family barbecue last weekend. So I have to put a shout out to my sister. She does an absolute fabulous job every year. Evelyn and her daughter Kathy put the whole thing together, and everybody brings something. Every family brings something, whatever they're going to eat, and a little bit more, of course. And we have an afternoon together, and it's really nice because my sister really, really promotes this. And if it wasn't for her, we would probably want to be one of those families that saw each other at funerals. Yeah, because nobody's getting married anymore. So I really applaud her for that because she's really worked hard since my parents have been gone. My parents have been gone some 25 years. But there's not a time that we don't get together that we don't mention them or their names don't come up at least once, right? So I'm pretty sure that my mother was sitting at that barbecue with us on Sunday, and it was an absolutely fabulous day. The weather just broke. Hi, Marion. The weather just broke and the humidity lifted, and it was just fabulous. I'm telling you, I could have sat out there all night just because I hadn't been out. And when we got home, we went about 10:30 and we got home about 6. And when I got home, I was so tired. I was like, oh my God, this is how the kids feel when they've been outside all day. Now I remember why we used to send them out. My sister puts on this barbecue, and she also does the Christmas thing. And so that keeps us going, twice a year, as we were always a very, very close family. And as we've all kind of gotten married and broken off the chunk, and then we've had our own family, and there's just too many people to get together really in anybody's house very often. So the holidays like Easter and Thanksgiving were kind of foregone. And as these kids today, they don't have the obligation to be here and to attend these things like we used to have to, right? So everybody has their own life, and so now we see each other twice a year. So it was pretty cool because hi Susan, my grandson is the only baby, and of course he was there, and everybody sat in a circle. And my grandson was in the middle of the circle, and he was quite content to, go around to everybody. He wasn't playing shy yet, and he was quite content to go around to everybody, and everybody had a little talk about him and everything. But he couldn't get out of the circle, and it was absolutely fabulous. So, we have this barbecue every year, and we kind of sit in the same place. We go to the same park, and the same things kind of happen every year. But I guess this year, the melancholy of kind of losing the cat and thinking about, things changing in the future and how they're going to change. And, nothing's the same. We're not as young as we used to be. And I kind of took a look around the park at each person who was sitting among the circle. And I thought about the part that each of those people played in my life and how many years this unit has been together. And the ups and downs, the things that we've gone through, what we've gone through together, and what we've chosen to do by ourselves. And I thought, it's been a lot of years. It's such a solid relationship that we have. There was 5 kids. We have one that chooses not to attend family at all. And I have one sister who has passed. So there's 3 siblings remaining, and all of their children were there. And so the grandchildren were there, and the great-grandchildren, and my mother and father's grandchildren and great-grandchildren were there. And so we have the only baby now because the great-grandchildren are just at that age where they're going to, start having more kids. So our family's going to grow. But it was pretty amazing, when I look at each of the people and the part that they played in my life. And I wondered, what was it, who was it that thought that we needed to be together, right? I looked at my brother, and I looked at my sister, and I looked at their siblings, and I thought, it's such a wonderful, wonderful thing to be connected like this to one big happy family, right? And, we had a fabulous time. We we stayed at the park, and all the kids played, and it didn't matter whose kids were there. Everybody was playing together, and everybody was really happy. And I think everybody's really happy to do this. So I'm pretty happy with my family. I'm pretty impressed at what we have accomplished over the years. And not to say that that the years coming aren't going to be just as well, but we did pretty good for ourselves. The men worked very hard. Most of us were allowed to stay home with our children. Those that didn't went to work because they wanted to go to work. Everybody had a really good life, and everybody did what they wanted to do. And when I got sick, each one of those people were there with me, and I saw them, and they supported my family, and everybody was absolutely wonderful, right? So whatever your family unit is, remember that you might not see them all the time, and you might not, know all of their business, but know that the family unit is stronger than you actually realize. And when you sit in a circle around with everybody around you, and you kind of take a look at each one of them, right? You see that each person plays a part in what you are, what you have been, and what you're going to become in the future, right? So I hope everybody has this where they, have kind of a family unit, whether it's together or whether you're apart. If you are part of a family unit, you will feel it. And I hope that everybody has that, because it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. Of course, my 3 kids were there, and I was really happy about that. And hi, Sandra. And I'm glad you got to make it today. This is the first time that Sandra hasn't been the first person on for tea time. So this was her first time. She was out this afternoon. So I'm glad that you got back in time to see us. So take a minute and go around your circle. Have a look at the people that are there, and realize the part that they played in what we've all become, what everybody has turned out to be, how our lives all interchanged. And remember that those people were put there for a reason. There's a reason why. And I think that I read this book one time, and they said that before you come to Earth, you choose the people that are going to be surrounded by you, that you are going to be surrounded by. You choose your nephews and nieces, and you choose your brothers and sisters. I think I chose pretty good. We had an absolutely fabulous time. And I realized how lucky I was that I was able to attend, and that I didn't have to worry about anything. Everything that had to be done was done, and it was absolutely fabulous. So look around your circle, see the people that help you, and the people that make up your unit, because this is your little village, right? And that's what I was kind of thinking on Sunday when we were sitting out there, that this was my little village, right? So how's everybody's week been? I think the humidity has broken just a little bit, except way down in the south there. I heard that it's really, really bad down there still. But I think most of the humidity up towards southern Ontario anyways, our humidity has broken, and it's absolutely fabulous. Not to say you'd go out in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, but you might venture out at night, right? Like after supper or whatever, right? So that's kind of nice. It was really, really nice being out. I don't spend enough time outside, and I really should. I spend too much time working behind my computer, and I've got to do a check on that, because it's not the time of my life to be working so hard behind my computer and stuff like that. But you get busy, and people ask you to do stuff, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So tomorrow's blog post. Tomorrow's blog post is going to be on the self-blame game. So think about that, right? Even no matter what your chronic illness is, most of the time when you're diagnosed, your doctor will say, well, when you ask him what the cause is, or what happened, how did this happen? How did this occur? And most of the times the doctors will say, well, you did this or you did that. And we go on and we play the self-blame game, where we blame ourselves for everything that happens. You know, my ankles are swollen. Well, I must have been standing on them too long. I'm coughing a lot. Well, you know, I shouldn't have smoked. I get migraine headaches. Well, you know, I should have known to do this or do that, right? So tomorrow we're going to talk about the self-blame game and why it is no good for you and why it serves no purpose. I'm hoping that the weather is treating everybody better and that you're not suffering from migraine headaches and stuff like that, because it's getting to be that time of the year. I know I used to get really bad headaches in the fall time, right? So can everybody believe that it's the middle of August? Like, where has this year gone? It's unbelievable that this is the middle of August already, right? You know, and my sister called me and said, you know, the picnic's next week. And I was like, what? It can't be that late already, but there it is. It's here and it's been gone. And so, you know, yeah, the year is just flying by. And it's not just me. I'm hearing everybody say this, right? My God, before we know it, it's going to be Christmas. So, yeah, tomorrow we're going to talk about the self-blame game and the part that you played in your chronic illness and why there's no point in you blaming yourself. So I talked to somebody last week, somebody on Tea Time, about the portable concentrators. Does anybody have a portable concentrator? I'd love to talk to you about it. I know that one person does, and she sent me the receipt of what they paid, and I just about died. In Canada, it's about $4,200 for a portable concentrator, and I'm kind of in the mood for one. I can't afford to pay that, so I'm wondering if there's any such thing as a used one. I'm going to call my oxygen provider, but I wanted to talk to some people to see if they were worth it, right? Portable concentrators. So this week I purchased and I'm not making anything off of this. I don't make anything off of sponsors, anything. And this is not the brand. These are all the same. This is a salt concentrator for those of you who asked. It's a salt inhaler. So this salt inhaler, I got it at Amazon because I get everything at Amazon, right? And the salt inhaler comes and it's full of salt. So it's pink Himalayan salt. And when you do so a couple of people had told me about this and I thought, yeah, I don't know. But, you know, I went to the Salt Cave and I really, really liked it. We had a really good time at the Salt Cave. And I really did feel, you know what happened? I got into the Salt Cave. I had my daughter and my daughter-in-law and my favorite niece and a couple other people. I don't know. Everybody was invited, but anyways, everybody wasn't down for it. So we went into the Salt Cave. And so you go and you sit in these, those chairs, zero gravity chairs, right? And before I knew it, could you imagine? I was laying flat and I was like, wait a minute, I can't do this. So anyways, that's what happened when I went to the Salt Cave and I thought, this is absolutely fabulous. But the thing of it is that it's $45 for an hour, I think, or 45 minutes or something like that. Like it's ridiculous. I couldn't afford it. So it would be really, really nice if we could. So anyways, I thought about the salt inhaler and a couple of people have said that they used it and this is absolutely fabulous. So this is what it's done for me. I'm doing this and I'm taking NAC. And I don't know what NAC stands for. Don't ask me what it stands for. But the person who promotes it is Derek Cummings. And he takes it. So I got some and I took them for a couple of days and I didn't really like them. I threw them in the medicine cabinet. But I started taking them again. And between the NAC and the salt inhaler, I started to get rid of some of the tightness in my chest, right? So, but I wanted to talk to you about this because it's really, really important. People don't understand. Unless you've been taught to take your puffers properly, you're not going to be able to do this properly. Because you have to make sure that you're not breathing into it. So when you take your salt inhaler, it's already filled with salt and it's filled right up to the top. It's filled up right up to here. It comes with the salt in it. So when you take your inhaler, you have to make sure that You breathe out. So you're sucking in through your mouth and you're exhaling through your nose, which is something that kind of goes against pursed-lip breathing because we're told never to exhale through our nose. But if you don't do that with this, it will become contaminated. You're not supposed to be breathing into it, right? So if you can do that, if you can do this without breathing into it, this salt is usually good for about 3 to 6 months. There is a bit of a taste to the salt, so I'm imagining that as it goes less potent, or as it gets less potent. Hi, Jan. Nice of you to join us today. As it gets less potent, that you'll be able to taste that there's less salt taste. It's not really a salt taste. It's the taste of this salt. This has been absolutely fabulous. So I really, really like this. $29, no, maybe $39 at Amazon. It's a little bit more than I thought it was going to be. And I think if you go into these, there's certain stores that you go into that they sell them, but I don't know where it was because I don't go out shopping. So Amazon. As long as you're not exhaling into the salt, it'll be fine. If you start exhaling into it, you're going to contaminate it. So that was my big buy for the week. I was absolutely fabulous about that. So that in the NAC, and the NAC is really cheap. I also get that at Amazon, and it's 2 tabs a day, just a supplement. So it's 2 tabs a day, and it helps to dry up your lungs. Okay. So as you can see on my face, I have not been beat up, but I'm having a problem with my mask, and so I'm having problems with keeping my my face moisturized. So I'm going to come up with a solution for that next week, and we're going to talk about that because I've started to talk to somebody about getting some product for that. Yes, your directions should say to breathe in the salt, but don't breathe back into the inhaler. You suck the salt out of the inhaler, and then you exhale through your nose. And if you can get that done, you won't have the salt contaminated. Follow me, please, on Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. My blog will be out tomorrow on catchyourbreath60.com, and we will be talking about the self-blame game. And please give yourself a break and stop playing the self-blame game. Join me tomorrow for my blog. Hi, Merlin. I'm sorry that I'm just signing off right now, but I appreciate you popping in, and you definitely can watch in the repeats, okay, or in the replay. This is Barbara Moore for Catch Your Breath 60. My blog post will be out tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining us today.